Hello! The use of biometrics as an identifier in access systems is now as common as the use of traditional contactless cards, such as, for example, fingerprint sensor readers are no longer surprising and are now readily available to any company, regardless of its size, even small ones, for instance. Within the Sigur system, you can use any biometric readers, such as those that have a standard Vigant or OSDP output interface. Same time, we have integration with a number of devices, which greatly simplifies the operator's work by offering a unified software interface for simultaneous managing both biometric templates and the personnel database. Examples of such readers are devices from the company Biosmart. Currently, Sigur supports the connection of 4th and 5th generation devices, a desktop USB reader, to easily enter biometric templates into the system. Using the Biosmart 5M as an example, we will examine how to connect these devices to Sigur controllers and configure their interaction within the integration framework. Before we begin, I will note some important nuances. A fingerprint sensor is generally contact-based. This means that a surface-level popular pattern of the finger will be used as the template. For this reason, the use of this type of biometrics indeed has a number of limitations. Fingers with damaged skin, cuts, or even gloves, as well as in very low temperatures, will scan poorly or not at all. The reader needs to be maintained by regularly and thoroughly cleaning the scanner, depending on the traffic through the access point and the environment. As part of the integration, readers are connected to the controller via the Vigant interface and added in the IP network. The Sigur server connects to the readers over the IP network. The integration creates fingerprint templates directly in the Sigur software interface and stores them in the device's standalone memory over the IP network. This eliminates the need for maintaining a dual database of templates, separate for Sigur and in the reader's memory. Connecting the reader to the controller through Vigant allows the system to operate in autonomous mode. Let's move on to the integration setup and start by connecting the reader to the controller. To transmit information to the controller, the reader must be connected via the Vigant interface. For this purpose, the Biosmart 5M reader board has Vigant 0 and Vigant 1 terminals. Connect the Vigant 0 and Vigant 1 terminals of the Biosmart reader to the Data 0 and Data 1 terminals of the controller port. For correct data transmission, the common 0V wire, the Biosmart 5M reader, and the GND terminal of the Sigur controller port must be paired with the wires of the Data 0 and Data 1 lines. I would like to note that when connecting multiple readers to the controller simultaneously, an external power supply must be used. Since we have only one reader, it can be connected directly to the controller port's power line. Depending on the model, the controller terminals may have different names. You can find the names of the terminals for your model in the manual on our official website. The power supply line for the Biosmart 5M reader is via the 0V and 12V terminals, attached to the E4 controller port, 12V to power and 0V to ground. Next, connect the reader to the network using the Ethernet interface. There's a special port on the device's board. The physical connection of the device to the controller is complete, and you can proceed to the software settings. The initial setup of the reader can be done using the Biosmart software, which can be downloaded from the manufacturer's website. In the future, PoE Biosmart integration will not be required for regular operation. We have already installed the necessary software, so we will proceed directly to the settings. Biosmart readers come with factory-set network settings, and these need to be changed to match the parameters of the network being used. At the time of recording this video, the Biosmart 5M series device is supplied in such a way that to configure its network parameters, the computer must temporarily set the IP address to 172.25.110. And at the end, please simply specify any value from 1 to 254, except just 71, as this is the default reader address. Kindly set the network mask to 255. 255.00. In case of changes in the delivery conditions of Biosmart readers, refer to the documentation on the manufacturer's official website. We have set all necessary network settings, so we will continue the configuration in Biosmart software. After launching the program, go to the Device tab and add a new one manually or using Auto Search. I will use Auto Search to the system. Once the device is detected automatically, we select it with a checkbox and complete the process successfully and efficiently to ensure proper functionality with ease. Next, you should open the properties of the reader that you have located. Right-click on the reader icon and choose. In the opened window on the General tab, we will set the desired reader parameters, IP address, subnet mask, The port number can be left at the default value of 2.3.0.2, but if this value is changed, it is important to remember the new one, as it will be needed for configuration in the Sigur software. Next, go to the System tab and carefully set the RFID operating mode parameter to card ID reading, and also set the VGANT output mode to VGANT26. Make sure to double-check these settings. In the card or fingerprint operation logic, we will enable the mode where the unique codes of cards that are not registered in the system will be immediately transmitted to the controller via the VGANT interface. This will ensure that any unregistered card will have its unique code sent directly and instantly to the controller, making the process seamless and efficient. After completing the settings, we will save the changes, close the BioSmart software, and restore the computer's network settings to their original state. It is important to note that the BioSmart services must be turned off. The concurrent operation of BioSmart services and Sigur software leads to incorrect functioning of the readers. Configuration of the readers using native tools. Proceed to further configuration in the Sigur system. To do this, navigate to the client program on your device. Once there, proceed to the settings menu where you will find various options. Look for the section labeled Biometrics. Next, we will enable the Use BioSmart option, which is for fingerprints. Now, we will select the desired operating mode, which determines how the system will operate under different conditions. Identification by fingerprint or card. Identification will be performed using either of the specified features. Identification by card plus fingerprint. Identification will be performed by both card and fingerprint. That is, after presenting the card, it will indeed be necessary to also verify it with a fingerprint. I will choose the fingerprint or card mode. Now let's select the identification mode. Only two options are available. Local, where biometric templates are stored directly in the BioSmart readers which recognize the fingerprint independently. And server-based. Biometric templates are stored in Sigur database and recognition is performed on Sigur server side. I will definitely choose the local mode. It is very important to pay attention to the characteristics of the readers. Slightly. Some models of BioSmart readers do not have this operating mode. After enabling the Use BioSmart option, you will be able to map the BioSmart readers connected to this controller to a specific access point. To do this, simply go to the Equipment tab and just easily select the desired access point. Next, select the Biometrics tab where you can link the readers for entry and exit each. Configure it for entry. Let's choose the type of reader. It's the BioSmart fingerprint reader. We will enter its IP address and the port number. Initially, we did not change the port, leaving the default value of 2.3.0.2. After completing the settings, click the Apply button. Once all integration settings are completed, biometric templates need to be created. This can be done in two ways. Use the BioSmart FS80 desktop fingerprint reader or the older FPS 152 model if available. Alternatively, create biometric templates for access objects directly from the wall-mounted reader. Adding and removing biometric templates is done in the Personnel tab under the Main section. A total of up to 10 fingerprint templates can be added for a single access object. So, after configuring all the settings in the Sigur software for working with biometric readers in BioSmart, which is a comprehensive and advanced system, go to the Personnel tab and select the employee you are interested in. A biometrics parameter will appear right at this spot. In the drop-down menu, you will need to select the type of reader, which in our case is BioSmart fingerprints. On the right, there are functional buttons labeled Add Biometric Template from USB device and Add Biometric Template from IP device. The first one allows using a desktop reader to create fingerprint templates, while the second one is intended for creating templates directly from the wall-mounted reader. Let's start with the first option and add a fingerprint template using the desktop USB reader FS80, which we have already connected to the computer. When you simply press down firmly on the Create button with just the USB reader, then immediately after that action is taken, the process of scanning your biometric template begins using a desktop reader. During the scanning process, there is also an option to visually monitor the quality of the fingerprint. After a successful scan, confirm the assignment of the template to the access object by pressing the OK button. After that, we see that the value indicating the presence of biometric templates in the object's account card has changed to 1. To save all of your changes, press the Apply button. Now let's verify if my template has been recorded on the wall-mounted reader in order to ensure accuracy. The reader successfully recognized the fingerprint and sent its transformed mathematical model to the controller as a Wiegand code. An access permission event appeared in real time, immediately and without delay, on the Monitoring tab of the system interface. Now let's add a biometric fingerprint template using the second method with a wall-mounted reader. Let's go back to our employee on the Personnel tab. When the button to create a template from an IP device is pressed, scanning the bio template directly from the wall-mounted reader begins. To select a more convenient device, you can press the corresponding button and choose the access point connected to the desired reader from the equipment tree. After that, simply place your finger on the wall-mounted reader's scanner. In case of a successful recording, we will see a message that the fingerprint has been scanned. The window automatically closes, and the value of the biometric templates has changed. In our case, there are now 2. Click Apply to save the settings. Now let's check if my second template is recorded on the wall-mounted reader. The reader successfully recognized the fingerprint again and sent its transform mathematical model to the controller as a Wiegand code. An Access Granted event appeared on the Monitoring tab. This completes the connection and setup of the integration with the Biosmart 5M fingerprint readers. That's all from me. See you next time.